You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris?
They don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese?
Oh man, they got the metric system. They wouldn't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is.
And what do they call it?
They call it Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
That's right.
Hey guys, it's Ryan, and today I have a very special video for you on Pulp Fiction. It's my all-time favorite movie by a long shot, and I gotta say, I really enjoy making this because, as we all know, Tarantino movies are all so finely tuned, it's literally impossible to catch every little reference and detail. But I tried to do just that. Alright, here are 50 facts you didn't know about Pulp Fiction. At the very beginning of the overdose scene, Mia is wearing Vincent's coat. Moments later, she goes to light a cigarette and is no longer wearing it, but the coat magically appears back on her once the cigarette is lit. No real answer is given in the film, but Tarantino revealed that Butch is the one who keyed Vincent's car.
You looking at something, friend?
Me and my friend Palooka.
And if you didn't know, a palooka is a boxer who isn't very good, or a boxer who takes a dive for money.
Teddy, well, sometimes you see a fighter with a glass chin. This one has a glass glove. His left glove gets hit. Watch, the first one goes, now that's nothing. Then the other one hits the shoulder. I'm sorry. Tate has a glass shoulder.
Vincent Vega's 1964 Chevelle Malibu belonged to Tarantino and was stolen during production of the movie. The car didn't resurface until 2013, when a cop noticed two teenagers stripping a car. After arresting them and researching the car, he discovered the car's VIN number had been altered and the vehicle was stolen. The owner, who had recently purchased the car, was unaware that it was stolen and that its rightful owner was Quentin Tarantino. A range of different actresses were considered for the part of Mia Wallace, including Isabella Rossellini, Meg Ryan, Daryl Hannah, Joan Cusack, and Michelle Pfeiffer. Probably the most interesting candidate was Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who, according to her agent at the time, couldn't take the role because of her commitment to Seinfeld. Jules' iconic "Bad Motherfucker" wallet belonged to Tarantino and, of course, was a reference to the theme song from Shaft. Tarantino gave the wallet to Jackson's character Jules, and amazingly, 6 years later, Samuel L. Jackson went on to star in the sequel to Shaft.
Concealed weapon. The Iceman goeth for a long time.
Tarantino considered playing the role of Lance, but chose to play the character of Jimmy Dimmick because he wanted to be behind the camera during Mia's overdose scene.
I never done this before. I ain't never done it before either, all right? I ain't starting now. Look, you brought her here, and that means that you're gonna give her the shot. The day that I bring an OD and bitch to your house, then I give her the shot.
When Mia Wallace orders her $5 shake at Jackrabbit Slim's, the waiter asks her,
"How you want that shake, Martin and Lewis or Amos and Andy?"
He is referring to the comedy duo of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, two white guys, and the Amos and Andy show, two black guys. Basically, he's asking her if she'd like it chocolate or vanilla. The various weapons that Butch considers for carrying out his revenge in the pawn shop are all nods to other films. The hammer is from Friday the 13th, Part 2. The bat comes from Walking Tall. The chainsaw is, of course, a reference to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And finally, the samurai sword is from Lightning Swords of Death. At first, Uma Thurman turned down the role of Mia Wallace, but Quentin Tarantino was so desperate for her to play the role, he read her the script over the phone and eventually convinced her to take it. Quentin Tarantino wrote the character of Jules specifically for Samuel L. Jackson after he missed out on a role in Reservoir Dogs. But the role was nearly given to Paul Calderone after a great audition. Hearing this, Jackson flew to Los Angeles and auditioned again in order to secure the role. Calderone ended up with a small role in Pulp Fiction as Paul.
Chew my food, my mouth closed, laugh at fucking jokes, and that's it.
Hey, my name's Paul, this just between y'all.
In the movie's closing credits, the manager of the coffee shop is credited just as coffee shop. It was actually because Tim Roth's character holds a gun to the manager's head and says,
"I think you got a hero here, honey bunny."
Well, just execute him!
The manager replies,
"I am not a hero, I'm just a coffee shop."
before Roth cuts him off and starts screaming again.
The restaurant's down!
Quentin Tarantino often gives a nod to his home state of Tennessee in his films, with Pulp Fiction being no different, as Butch arranged to meet his connection in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah, it'll probably take us a couple days to get down to Knoxville.
One of the more interesting characters, in my opinion, that we learn very little about is Butch's cab driver, Esmeralda Villalobos, played by Angela Jones. Esmeralda's character is actually based on the character from a short film called Curdled that Jones did in 1991 about a Colombian immigrant who cleans up after murders, hence Esmeralda's fascination with homicides. Tarantino saw the short and incorporated her into the Pulp Fiction universe.
You are the first person I've ever met who has killed somebody.
Pam Grier auditioned for a role in Pulp Fiction as Lance's wife, Jody, and although Tarantino was a fan of Grier, he didn't cast her as he didn't believe that she could get pushed around the way the character does.
Fuck out of my way.
Pig.
But he later wrote Jackie Brown's character specifically for Grier. This fact is pretty widely known, but Mia's pilot show has a very familiar premise to Kill Bill.
There was a blonde one, Somerset O'Neill. She was a leader. The Japanese fox was a kung fu master. The black girl was a demolition expert. French fox's speciality was sex. The character I played, Raven McCoy, her background was she grew up raised by circus performers. According to the show, she was the deadliest woman in the world with a knife.
Tarantino initially wanted the song My Sharona by The Knack to be played in the infamous anal rape scene. Unfortunately, Reality Bites, the film about post-grad anguish, also wanted the rights, so Tarantino instead chose Comanche by The Rebels. Karen Rackman, the film's music supervisor, said that Tarantino's mom used to listen to Chuck Berry's You Can Never Tell all the time when she was pregnant with him. It's the song playing during the dance contest at Jack Rabbit Slim's. The role of Vincent Vega was originally written for Michael Madsen, who played Vic Vega in Reservoir Dogs. Instead, Madsen opted to play Virgil Earp and Wyatt Earp. Tarantino then made the controversial choice of casting John Travolta, who was paid less than $150K, but went on to receive an Oscar nomination for Best Actor.
Would you give a guy a foot massage?
Fuck you.
The scene where Vince stabs Mia with the adrenaline shot was actually filmed in reverse by having Travolta pull the needle out instead of stabbing it in. Tarantino's recovering addict friend helped Travolta feign a heroin high by instructing him to get drunk on tequila and take a hot bath. The original teaser poster was recalled by Miramax because they didn't have the rights to use the Lucky Strike cigarettes and the book The Harlot and the Heart. The name Honey Bunny came from Linda Chen, who typed up Tarantino's handwritten script for Pulp Fiction. In lieu of payment, she asked Tarantino to watch her pet rabbit when she went on location, but Tarantino wouldn't do it. And when the rabbit later died, he named Amanda Plummer's character after Chen's pet.
Chill out, honey bunny. All right, now tell her it's gonna be all right.
In a sheer bit of coincidence, when Travolta went to Tarantino's Los Angeles apartment to look at the script, he realized that he used to live in that exact same apartment. Chronologically, Fabian and Butch riding away on the motorcycle is the film's final scene, but the sound of the motorcycle is actually the first sound in the film.
Forget it, it's too risky.
Steve Buscemi and Kathy Griffin both have small cameos. Buscemi plays the Buddy Holly waiter, and Griffin is a witness to Butch's hit and run of Marcellus Wallace.
If you need someone to go to court, I will be glad to help, okay? That guy was a drunken maniac. He hit you, and then he crashed into that car.
One of the most iconic scenes in the movie is when Vincent is rushing Mia Wallace over to Lance's house after her overdose. When Vincent calls Lance from his cell, Lance is watching TV and eating a bowl of Fruit Brute. The cereal was part of General Mills' Monster Cereals group, along with Yummy Mummy, Boo Berry, Frankenberry, and Count Chocula. Fruit Brute is no longer around, but it was a childhood favorite of Tarantino's and also appears in Reservoir Dogs. Whenever Vincent Vega goes to the toilet, something bad happens. He emerges at Mia Wallace's house to find her overdosing, comes out at the restaurant to find a robbery unfolding, and is shot dead by Butch after using his bathroom. Max Julien was set to play Marcellus Wallace, but absolutely refused to do the anal rape scene, meaning Ving Rhames got the role instead.
I ain't through with you by damn sight. I'ma get medieval on your ass.
Butch was originally intended as an up-and-coming boxer, with Sylvester Stallone, Matt Dillon, and Mickey Rourke all considered for the role. Eventually, Tarantino amended the character and offered it to Bruce Willis, who previously wanted to play Vincent. When Butch shoots Vincent Vega, it isn't Vince's gun that's been left on the table. As Jules had already retired by this point, Marcellus Wallace is staking out Butch's house with Vincent, leaving his gun there while going to get coffee and donuts. Marcellus and Mia Wallace never speak to each other on screen, despite being husband and wife. One theme throughout the film is guns not being used as intended. A close-range gunshot miraculously misses Jules, Vince accidentally shoots Marvin in the face, Butch shoots Vincent with a gun that was meant to kill him, and at the end of the film, it is Jules' gun that prevents violence in the coffee shop.
How we doing, baby?
I gotta go pee.
John Travolta was known for his dance moves prior to Pulp Fiction, with his roles in Saturday Night Fever and Grease, but his dance number with Uma Thurman at Jackrabbit Slim's was inspired by the films Band-Aid Apart and Federico Fellini's 8½. The latter features a very 1960s dance routine by Barbara Steele and Mario Pisu. The word fuck is used 265 times in the movie.
Any of you fucking pricks move, and I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you!
Tarantino wanted Jules to have a giant afro, but a prop master on set obtained several afro wigs and one Jerry curl wig. Samuel L. Jackson tried on the Jerry curl wig, and both he and Tarantino liked it so much, they stuck with it. Saturday Night Live's Julia Sweeney might have had a minor role in the film as Raquel, the junkyard owner's daughter, but at the time the movie was being made, she was actually married to Stephen Hibbert, who, believe it or not, played the Gimp. The couple later divorced, but Hibbert went on to work as a writer for Mad TV and Boy Meets World. The t-shirt that Jimmy is wearing bears the logo of Orbit, an alternative Detroit newspaper. Tarantino picked up the shirt while doing an interview with the paper during promotion for Reservoir Dogs. At the end of Pulp Fiction, Jules says that he wants to become a drifter. In Kill Bill Volume 2, Samuel L. Jackson appears as a piano-playing drifter called Rufus. When Bruce Willis is about to escape the pawn shop, he picks up Zed's keys, and on the keyring is the letter Z. After he decides to turn around, he sees a neon sign that spells out Killian's Red, but as some of the letters are not illuminated, it reads Kill Ed. Combine that with the Z on the keyring, and you get Kill Zed. Butch's boxing match is billed as Battle of the Titans, with fights between Coolidge vs. Wilson and Vossler vs. Martinez. These are all fictional boxing matches, with the first being a reference to US Presidents Calvin Coolidge and Woodrow Wilson. The second refers to Russell Vossler and Jerry Martinez, two of Tarantino's friends from when he worked at a video store. While almost everyone loved Pulp Fiction, 1996 Republican presidential candidate Bob Dole was not in that group. In fact, it's probably fair to say that he hated Tarantino movies in general. In 1995, he accused the movie industry of peddling nightmares of depravity. Dole criticized True Romance and Natural Born Killers, for which Tarantino wrote the screenplays for, and accused Pulp Fiction of promoting a romance of heroin. Pulp Fiction cost a relatively modest $8 million to make, with over $5 million going towards actor salaries. Amazingly, the film went on to make over $210 million. the character of Trudy wears a t-shirt of Irish rock band The Frames. This is because she appeared alongside The Frames' lead singer, Glenn Hansard, in The Commitments, and promised that she'd wear the t-shirt in Pulp Fiction if she got the part. The scenes when Tarantino plays Jimmy Dimmick are directed by uncredited Robert Rodriguez. In a deleted scene, Vincent Vega tells Mia that he's been fantasizing about being beaten up by Emma Peel from The Avengers. Uma Thurman later played Emma Peel in the 1998 film. There have been countless spoofs and mashups of the film over the years.
Strike down. Goddamn handcap. You're a smart motherfucker.
But one of the most innovative came in 2011 when YouTube user CrimeWriter95 recut the film so that it played out in chronological order. Unfortunately, the folks at Miramax had it taken down, but while it was up, viewers were able to watch the movie begin with the watch story, and not the diner robbery. Daniel Day-Lewis was famously overlooked for the role of Vincent, and Gary Oldman was originally favored for the role of Lance, after portraying a similar character in True Romance. During an interview with Phil LaMarr, who played Marvin, he disclosed the fact that it was actually his idea to have his character get shot in the face by Vincent. In Tarantino's screenplay, Marvin was accidentally shot in the throat and didn't die immediately. Vincent and Jules, knowing that Marvin would die slowly and painfully, decide to put him out of his misery and shoot him in the head. LaMarr suggested to Tarantino that it would turn the audience against Jules and Vincent, and that it would be funnier to kill him with an accidental shot to the face, to which Tarantino agreed. The white Honda Civic that Butch uses to plow into Marcellus Wallace is also used by Jackie in Jackie Brown and is in Kill Bill Volume 2. Marcellus Wallace's head turn towards Butch is a reference to the Hitchcock film Psycho. When Ving Rhames was shaving his head for the role, he accidentally cut the back of his neck. This prompted Tarantino to open the scene of him and Butch with a close-up on the Band-Aid. Tarantino liked the idea of focusing on the Band-Aid rather than Marcellus's face because it accentuated the character's mercurial nature. Also, the Band-Aid has heavily contributed to the fan theory that the briefcase contains Marcellus Wallace's soul, because when someone sells their soul to the devil, their soul is removed from the back of their head, the exact spot where Wallace has the Band-Aid. Alright, so if you made it all the way through to the end, thank you so much for watching. And you know, these videos take a lot of time to produce, so if you could leave a like and subscribe, I would be eternally grateful. Alright, more good stuff coming soon. Keep an eye out for it.